Okay, so you sent us this article all about the rise of humanoid robots?
And one image really jumped out at me.
Optimus Tesla's robot holding up that celebratory battery.
Right.
Kind of genius marketing, don't you think?
Yeah, it's definitely an attention-grabbing image for sure.
But also kind of spooky? No.
It is a powerful image for sure.
Yeah.
I think Tesla's trying to signal that, look, they're not just an electric vehicle company anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is an AI company, and these robots are their next big thing.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, world, watch out. We're not just disrupting the car industry anymore. We're coming for everything.
Yeah.
And the numbers really back that up. I mean, Goldman Sachs predicts that this market for humanoid robots could be worth almost $40 billion by 2035.
Wow.
I mean, that's like the entire global gaming market today, but with robots instead of controllers. So what's driving that kind of insane growth?
Well, I think it's a few things coming together at once.
Okay.
You've got AI, obviously, that's advancing crazy fast.
Yeah.
Especially these large language models we hear so much about.
Right.
And that means that robots can learn and adapt like way faster than ever before.
So the tech is basically ready to go.
It's getting there, yeah.
But then there's also the cost of materials, like actually building these things has gotten a lot cheaper.
Exactly. And that's making them more realistic for companies to actually use. It's not just a cool tech demo anymore.
It's actually becoming commercially viable.
Right.
Okay. I have to admit, when I hear humanoid robot, my brain goes straight to like sci-fi movies.
Of course.
So are we talking about, robots helping me with groceries anytime soon or what?
Well, maybe not grocery shopping just yet. But this article you sent, it mentions iRobot. And it got me thinking. We need to be clear about what we mean by humanoid robots, because it's not just one thing.
Okay, so break it down for me.
So you've got those specialized robots we see already, like in factories or even surgery.
Right, those robotic arms doing very specific tasks.
Exactly. And they're amazing at what they do, but they're designed for that one thing.
Yeah.
Humanoid robots, on the other hand, they could be way more versatile, more like us in a way.
More like us.
Okay, now that's both exciting and a little unnerving.
A little bit of both, for sure.
But this isn't just a Tesla show, right? There are other companies making these things.
Oh, absolutely. And they're all taking slightly different approaches, which is what makes this whole field so interesting to watch.
Okay, so who else should we have on our radar besides Tesla?
Well, let's start with Tesla, since we're talking about them.
Okay.
Their big thing is their AI-first approach, right? They're using the same AI they developed for their self-driving cars in Optimus.
Oh, that's smart. So they're not starting from scratch.
Exactly. They're leveraging what they already have, which is some of the most advanced AI out there.
And their goal is, what, 1 billion of these robots by the 2040s?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, that's more robots than there are people in Europe.
It's wild.
Elon Musk really doesn't think small, does he?
Not at all.
Okay, so Tesla's pushing the boundaries in one direction, but what about Boston Dynamics?
Ah, the OG robot makers.
Right? They've been at this for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got a long history, and their Atlas robot is seriously impressive.
Oh, yeah. Those videos they put out are incredible. It's like watching a parkour athlete who also happens to be a robot.
Exactly. Incredibly agile, lifelike movements.
A little terrifying, too, if I'm being honest.
A little.
But are they actually using those robots in the real world, or is it mostly for show?
Oh, they're definitely putting them to work.
Okay, how so?
Well, they've partnered with Hyundai to explore how Atlas can work alongside humans in car manufacturing.
Interesting. So instead of replacing humans altogether, it's more about collaboration.
Right. It's like a more advanced, adaptable version of those robotic arms you already see in factories.
Makes sense.
And it's a strategy that other companies are picking up on, too.
Oh, yeah, like who?
Ubitek Robotics, for example. They're making big moves, especially in Asia.
Ubitek, that name rings a bell.
They're huge in robotics, and they just went public in Hong Kong recently. They've got this robot called the Walker S, and it's already working in factories for companies like NIO.
NIO, the electric vehicle company.
Yep. And there are rumors of a potential partnership with BYD, too, another EV giant.
Wow, so they're really focusing on that market.
It's a huge opportunity. And like Boston Dynamics, they're all about this human-robot collaboration.
Finding that balance between what humans are good at and what robots can do better.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the big players like Tesla, Boston Dynamics, but this article also mentions some startups getting into the game.
Oh, yeah. There's some really interesting up-and-comers pushing the boundaries even further.
Okay, spill the beans. Who are these robot revolutionaries?
Well, one you got to keep an eye on is Figure AI.
Figure AI, okay.
Yeah, their founder is this guy, Brett Adcock. He's like a real-life Tony Stark, I swear. Well, he also founded Archer Aviation, the flying taxi company.
No way. Flying taxis and robots. This guy is living in the future.
Right, and Figure AI is getting a ton of attention from investors.
Like who?
Well, NVIDIA's backing them, and get this, Jeff Bezos is an investor.
Wow, they're playing in the big leagues then.
Oh yeah, they just got a massive funding round and they landed a deal with BMW.
BMW, what are they doing with robots?
Factory deployment.
Yeah.
So BMW is going to be using Figure's robots in their factories.
Wow, okay, so what's so special about Figure's robots? What are they hoping to achieve?
Their big focus is on vision technology.
Vision technology. What does that even mean for a robot?
So it's all about giving the robots the ability to see and understand their surroundings, like really accurately.
Okay, so they can navigate and interact with the real world.
Exactly. And their goal is full autonomy.
So like Tesla, they're going for robots that can basically do anything.
Pretty much. Yeah, not just factory work either. They're thinking bigger picture, like homes, other industries, you name it.
Interesting. So we've got some companies going all in on autonomy. Others are focusing more on collaboration. It makes you wonder which approach is going to win out in the end.
Right. Is it going to be robots that are basically like us or robots that work alongside us as partners?
It's like those choose your own adventure books, but for the future of humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of choosing your own adventure, we haven't even talked about Sanctuary AI yet.
Oh yeah, they're the ones aiming for general intelligence, right?
That's right, the holy grail of AI.
But what did that actually mean? Like a robot that can actually think for itself.
That's the idea. A robot that can learn, adapt, solve problems just like a human.
Okay, so not just following pre-programmed instructions, but actually thinking on its feet.
Exactly. Understanding complex concepts, interacting with the world in a way that's indistinguishable from a human.
I mean, that's incredible if they can pull it off.
It's super ambitious. A lot of experts think it's still a long way off.
Yeah, it almost sounds too good to be true.
Right. But Sanctuary AI is making moves.
Like what?
Well, they've developed this robot called Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay.
And they're partnering with Magna International to test it out.
Magna International. Who are they?
They're a huge automotive supplier, so they're working with Sanctuary AI to test these robots in real-world factories.
Wow. So they're not just talking about it, they're actually building and testing these things.
Exactly. And they've got another big partnership, too, with Microsoft.
Microsoft, what are they doing with robots?
Microsoft is providing them with access to their Azure cloud computing platform.
So basically giving Sanctuary AI a ton of computing power to train their AI.
Exactly. It's like giving a brain a supercomputer to work with.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Okay, so Sanctuary AI is swinging for the fences, aiming for this general intelligence thing. But what about the more immediate future? Like, what can we realistically expect to see from these humanoid robots in the next few years?
Well, in the short term, I think we're going to see a gradual rollout across different industries.
Okay, like where do you see them having the biggest impact first?
Manufacturing is the obvious one.
Yeah.
We're already seeing robots like Optimus and Walker S being used in factories, and I think that trend is only going to accelerate.
Yeah, those repetitive tasks that robots are really good at.
Exactly. But it's not just going to stop there. Logistics is another huge opportunity.
Logistics, you mean like warehouses and delivery and stuff?
Yep. Think about Amazon's Digit robot. It's designed to navigate those kinds of environments.
Right, so those more controlled, predictable spaces are a good testing ground for this tech.
Exactly. And then there's healthcare.
Healthcare, how so?
Imagine robots assisting nurses and doctors in hospitals, helping with patient care, lifting patients, even performing some basic medical procedures.
Wow, that would be huge, especially with the shortage of healthcare workers these days.
Right. And we can't forget about our homes.
Oh, you mean like robot maids?
Well, not quite Jetsons level yet, but I think we could see robots helping with chores, providing companionship, even caring for the elderly or people with disabilities.
Okay, now that's a future I can get behind. A robot that can do my dishes. Sign me up.
Right. It's about freeing up our time and energy.
So we can focus on the things that actually matter.
Exactly. But we got to be realistic here. There are still some big hurdles to overcome.
Like what?
Well, we've talked about the technical stuff, but there are ethical and societal questions, too.
Oh, right. Like, how do we make sure these robots are safe and reliable in our homes?
Exactly. And what about privacy? How do we prevent these robots from, spying on us?
And how do we even think about the ethics of having machines that are so human-like in our lives?
It's complicated stuff. We need to be having these conversations now.
Yeah, before it's too late.
Yeah.
Before these robots are everywhere.
Exactly. It's not just about building cool robots. It's about making sure we integrate them into society in a responsible way.
This is a lot to think about. I have to say, I went from robots are cool to robots are the future and we need to be ready.
That's what we're here for.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the companies, the ethical stuff. But what about the money?
What about it?
This robot revolution is going to be expensive. Who's paying for all this?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's something investors are watching very closely.
So how can someone get in on the ground floor here?
Hmm.
Assuming they don't have millions lying around to invest. Well, I mean, you don't have to go full-on venture capitalist, right?
Sure.
It's not the only way to get in on this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Which industries are going to be most affected by this robot revolution?
Well, we've talked about them, right? Manufacturing, logistics, healthcare,
Rainy.
you name it. Even consumer goods, probably.
Exactly. There's going to be this ripple effect throughout the economy.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Think about the companies that are going to be early adopters of this tech.
The ones who figure out how to actually use these robots effectively.
Right. That's where the smart money's going.
Interesting. So it's not just about betting on the robot makers themselves, but on the companies that are going to use those robots to transform their business.
Exactly. It's about seeing the bigger picture,
The ripple effect.
the transformative potential across different sectors.
Okay, I like it. So let's say I want to future-proof my career.
Okay.
Should I enroll in Robot Repair 101? What skills am I going to need?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. What should I be studying?
Well, on the technical side, there's the obvious ones.
Like what?
Robotics engineering, AI development, data science.
Yeah, those are going to be in high demand for sure.
Huge demand. But here's the thing. In a weird way, in this world that's becoming more and more automated, it's actually the human skills that are going to matter even more.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, all that stuff that robots, even these super advanced ones, can't quite replicate yet.
Right, because those are uniquely human skills.
Exactly. As robots take over more routine work, the ability to think critically, to come up with creative solutions, that's what's going to set people apart.
Right. If a robot can do the boring stuff that frees us up to focus on the things that require, actual human ingenuity.
Exactly. And don't forget communication, emotional intelligence, all of that.
Especially as we're going to be working alongside these robots more and more.
Exactly. It's going to be all about collaboration.
So it's almost like we need to become even more human.
I love that.
To thrive in this increasingly automated world.
It's not about being replaced by technology. It's about evolving with it.
Wow. This has been a roller coaster of a conversation, I have to say.
It's a fascinating topic.
It really is. I feel like we went from robots are cool to robots are the future and we need to be ready.
That's the goal. You want people to come away from this with a better understanding of what's at stake.
Well, to our listener who sent in this article, thank you for sparking this incredible conversation. We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have.
Different companies, different approaches, the potential benefits, the challenges, and of course the big question of what it all means for us humans.
And it's an ongoing conversation, right? The future is still being written.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, keep those questions coming. Keep exploring this topic and keep an open mind. Happy diving.